Shalom and welcome back. Tonight is a very somber day. It's Yom HaShoah, the anniversary of the Holocaust, Holocaust Memorial Day, which will be observed all over the world by Jewish people and non Jewish people as we commemorate the 6 million who died by the hand of the evil Nazi regime not so long ago. And it's observed throughout the world in commemorations, in Israel, they pause, the entire country pauses for 2 minutes. Everything stops, traffic stops, everybody stops, and they just stand in silence in commemoration of the Holocaust victims. And we think about it a lot. We memorialize it in many, many different ways. Um, I heard a very interesting talk by Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau, the former chief rabbi of Israel, the current chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, and he was asked by someone, why is it that we don't commemorate Yom HaShoah on Tisha B'Av, on the 9th of Av? Um, and many very prominent Orthodox rabbis felt that it should be observed on Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the universal anniversary of all of Jewish suffering throughout history. Both temples were destroyed on the 9th day of Av in different years, and the massacre of York and the Spanish Inquisition all began on Tisha B'Av. Why is it that we don't observe the Holocaust also on this very special day? Tisha B'Av, which is observed by fasting and mourning and special prayers of lamentation. And so Rabbi Lau was asked that question. And he gave a very interesting answer why he felt that Yom HaShoah should be observed when it is, namely tonight, not on Tisha B'Av. He said that the Holocaust stands out in Jewish history as the worst calamity, the, the most horrible event in all of Jewish history, even greater than the destructions of both temples. In both temples, in the last temple, 2,000 years ago, many believe that anywhere between 100,000 and 1 million people died, probably closer to 100,000 or more. But the Holocaust it doesn't even pale next to the Holocaust. And if we were to observe Holocaust Memorial Day on Tisha B'Av, it would come out in the summertime. And the summertime is a time of celebrations, of relaxations, of vacations. It comes in the middle of a time that people are taking off from work and enjoying themselves. It wouldn't really be so appropriate to observe this most somber day together with Tisha B'Av in the summertime. This way, it has its own date, and it deserves its own date as we commemorate it, because nothing compares to it. One thing that I find interesting about the Holocaust is the survivors of the Holocaust, those who managed, for some whatever reason, God picked them to survive amidst the inferno of the Holocaust. What is amazing about it is that the majority of the survivors that I have met here in San Diego, for example, are are very involved in the Jewish community. They are traditional Jews. They tend to be more on the traditional side, perhaps more conservative and orthodox, even rather than reform. They're active in the Jewish community. They did well for themselves financially, mostly, but they are involved, they're active, they're volunteers. You would think that after experiencing such a tragedy, losing family and friends and everyone, that they would give up on Judaism and Jewish life. But it's exactly the opposite. They chose to come out of it in a spirit of forgiveness, a spirit of positive energy, and the Holocaust survivors that I have met, who have been speakers, uh, uh, talked a great deal to non-Jewish audiences, and they speak in terms of love, in terms of how to reach out to people, to teach people not to hate, and what hate can accomplish. It's an incredibly positive message, and they are to be commended for it. I don't know if I could have done that. I honestly don't think I could have done that. Someone once asked Elie Wiesel, the great writer and Holocaust survivor himself, How did he come out of the Holocaust with his faith intact? Because he was so active and involved in Judaism, very close to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, as a matter of fact. And and Wiesel answered, he said, "Who said I came out with my faith intact? I lost my faith in the Holocaust. But just as a person who experiences a loss of a beloved relative mourns, sits Shiva for 7 days, he said, I sat Shiva for 7 years. And at the end of the 7 years, I realized that you have to have faith. Faith in whom? Faith in man? No, not after what he saw. He had no faith in man. So the only thing to have faith in is faith in God. And that's what happened. He came to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said to him, Mr. Wiesel, why don't you get married again? Wiesel said, how can I get married after what I've seen? I just couldn't bring a family into the world after what I've seen. The Rebbe strongly encouraged him to remarry and to have children, and he did, and he did, and he wrote, and he inspired us all. And indeed, that is really the message of Holocaust Memorial Day, that we need to inspire and we need to remember and realize that Judaism is still alive and well, and we cannot accomplish what the great late philosopher Emil Fackenheim said, to grant Hitler posthumous victory by assimilating and by leaving the religion of our heritage. We can't do that. So let's hope that this Holocaust Memorial Day will be a day of inspiration for all of us, a day of remembrance, a day of positive energy, and a day that we bury hate forever, and we come out of it greater and stronger than ever. Candlelighting the Shabbos is at 6:57. We'll be davening at 7 o'clock in Chabad of University City, and I want to wish you all a good Shabbos.